All right, guys. So I never made technically I never made an outro video. Just because, for example, I'm always coming up with not with good ideas, but I'm always coming up with ideas. I'm always thinking, I'm always, trying to see how I can make the group better. And, whether that's a video like this, whether that's a new trading concept that I backtest and I see value in, or whether it's another psychology video or whatever it is, right? I'm always trying to add more, trying to give more. Um, so here we are, right? And this video is a bit different. It's honestly, it's almost as honest as I'm gonna get with you guys. It can be a bit harsh to some people, but I feel like it's something that needs to be said. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to cover is let's cover statistics, right? And not legitimate numbers, but just theoretically statistics. Is it possible for me to make all of you profitable? Yes, but it's extremely unlikely, right? Because at the end of the day, all I can provide you is support and a blueprint, right? At the end of the day, the people who are legitimately committed and patient are the ones who reap the reward, right? And that leads us to a harsh reality in trading, and that's that some of us simply just aren't built for it. It's not your calling in life, and that's 100% okay, right? But the issue with that is that's not a judgment I can make for you. That's a judgment that you have to make. Right? So that kind of correlates to this story that two of the admins told me about, and that was that there was this guy, this Italian guy that actually had killed himself because of he didn't see the success from all of the hype and all the expectations that a ton of mentors gave him, and he felt like he was a failure. He felt like he felt like his world was just turning upside down, and he took his life because of it. And that's extremely humbling, extremely sad, and it's something that I wish on nobody. So that then leads us to why Sergio and I don't like to show lifestyle. We don't like to build hype, right? Like, I could easily go to Neiman Marcus right now and create, oh, not create, but purchase some nice Fendi pants, a nice Versace tee, some nice Gucci shoes, some nice Gucci frames, right? Nice Louis Vuitton belt, right? I could go rent out a nice Lambo for the day or two. I could post that on Instagram, Forex paid. I could easily do that. But it's just, I don't want that on my conscience. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing somebody just did that because I misled them. It's something that I genuinely just won't be able to go to sleep over, right? So back at the topic, right? Just because you realize you aren't built for trading doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get anything out of this, right? And coming into this is actually, I'm telling you a personal story. And before I learned how to trade, before I joined IML, before all of that, I was I think 18 years old, and this guy had approached me at Plato's Closet. And pretty much at Plato's Closet, he pretty much complimented my shoes. The typical pitch, like I didn't know anything about pitching at the time, so it wasn't, I didn't, like, I fell right for it, right? And so he had eventually introduced me to this idea, this type of MLM, but the selection of people that gain mentorship is extremely limited. And yeah, so pretty much I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that. I went to a couple meetings with them. I went to some trainings with them, and some of the trainings would be until like 2 a.m. And keep in mind, at the time I was a freshman in college, so I had 8 a.m. classes, and then I had soccer practice afterwards, and then I had probably work afterwards. So it was a lot of sacrifice, and it actually came to the day where I was, I met the CEO. The CEO had liked me. He had wanted me a part of the mentorship, and I had met those preliminary, I guess, requirements. But when it came to it, right, I felt like it wasn't my calling in life, and so I just backed out. I had no hard feelings, nothing personal. I just backed out. And actually, I still speak to that individual today. He's a very cool guy. He actually just recently got married. He's like 2-3 years older than me, and he's doing very well in life. And but anyways, right, just because I left it, just because I spent so much time, energy, and then just immediately left, it doesn't mean I didn't get anything out of it. It's thanks to that individual, it's thanks to that situation, it's thanks to that overall environment that I was exposed to, that there was more to life than working a regular job. You know what I'm saying? And you could become a business owner, you could become an investor, do anything like that. And without that opportunity, we might not be here today, because literally after I quit that opportunity, the next day I hit up one of Sergio's downlines, and then Sergio signed me up like in 2-3 weeks later. And I had quit my job that like same week, like on some stupid stuff, But anyways, right, we might not be here today if that didn't happen, right? So back to what I just said. Just because you feel as if you aren't built for trading doesn't necessarily mean you can't get anything out of this, right? Hence why Sergio and I even have videos in this phase where it's more so focused on mindset, spirituality, right? And you guys know, for the longest, I like to say that you should read between the lines, and that eventually evolved into the concept principle over concept, right? Where we pretty much talk about patience, we talk about self-organization, discipline, emotional control. The list is endless, right? Where essentially, right, all of these principles, they transcend the screen that you're looking at right now. They transcend the charts that you're looking at right now, right? And so something that I actually learned in IML, but it's something that is usually always revolving around my head, is how we do one thing is how we do all, right? And when I thought about it, that's a direct derivative of principle over concept, right? How you do one thing is how you do all, principally. So principle over concept, right? So something that you can infer with that is your focus, outside of solely focusing on chart work, and everything chart related in RCV, right? Even though that is your priority, your number one, right? I also want you to understand the overall concept of principle over concept, right? So in order for you to understand that, you first have to know, what is the principle? A principle is a fundamental truth or basis. I say truth in quotations very lightly, because the term truth can be very subjective, because your truth may not be my truth, or vice versa, right? And where concept is where the principle itself is applied, right? Like, for example, discipline. Discipline can be applied to trading, to your job, to even being at home, morning routines, working out, anything of such, right? So the main idea here is to understand the bigger picture, right? And I want you to ask yourself, right, what did this experience bring you, right? Of learning how to trade, of trying to build consistency, trying to build profitability. What did this experience bring you? What did you learn? And where can it be applied? Right? And those are questions that you must ask yourself, because that is not only how you evolve, right, outside of not anything trading related, but that's technically how you evolve, as an individual, right? So coming into the conclusion, right, you got to remember, right, you won't always necessarily quote unquote win, right? But you always have an opportunity to learn and grow, right? And just if you want to talk about loss, if you want to talk about anything like that, if you want to say, I'm not built for trading, maybe I've never been through a scenario like that. Well, for the people that have been in the group, for more than 6, 7, 8 months, probably a little bit longer than that, but I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually had my 5th knee surgery in 3 years in September, right? And it was like one of the only times I ever took a break from doing the webinars. And I had literally, it was my 5th knee surgery in 3 years, right? The first two were ACL tears, which were anywhere from 6 to 10 months each. And they were consecutive. And then there was 3 meniscus tears. The first meniscus tear was, I believe I retore at 10 weeks. And then the second meniscus tear, I believe I had made it all the way back. I was in preseason, and then I had torn it again, so that, you know, the doctors then realized it won't be able to heal anymore. So for the third surgery, they pretty much took a piece off of my meniscus, right? And because of those injuries, right, any dreams that I had of playing semi-professional soccer, professional soccer, anything like that, were just down the drain. And even though it was hard, I had to cope with it. But did I get anything out of it? I got so much out of it. You know, it's because I believe it's because of these injuries that, you know, we're also here today, right? I feel like it's built my character. I feel like it's helped me a lot with finding inner peace, with, you know, becoming satisfied with, you know, just what I want and not focusing on what other people care, and, you know, anything like that, right? So that pretty much brings us back to our conclusion, right? Keep in mind, remember, you will not always win, but you will always have an opportunity to learn and grow. However, it's up to you whether you choose to overall progress or regress, right? And with that being said, that's pretty much this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.